Chosen one, God said the weapon inside you is now fully operational, but before you let that sentence excite your ego, let it humble your spirit. The weapon is not rage, it is not revenge, it is not the need to prove everyone wrong. The weapon is discernment so clean it no longer needs noise. It is clarity that can stand still while confusion performs. It is restraint strong enough to walk away from what once controlled you. You are not here by accident. Something greater than your own searching led you into these words, because your spirit has been asking for confirmation. You have felt the shift. You are quieter, sharper, less available to chaos. The same situations that used to pull you apart now reveal themselves before they can touch your center. That is not you becoming cold. That is you becoming operational. And I hear the Father saying, I did not place this in you so you could wound people. I placed it in you so truth would have a body, so wisdom would have a voice, and so the calling I gave you would no longer be left unprotected. There is a room inside you that has been locked for years, not because God forgot the key, not because heaven was unsure about you, not because you were born empty. That room was sealed because sacred things are not handed to an unhealed version of a person who still thinks power means being seen. Picture it quietly. Before dawn, a temple standing in silence. The outer courts are cold, the lamps are low. No crowd is there to clap, no enemy is there to threaten. Deep inside that temple, behind a door no hand could force open, something has been waiting. That waiting thing is not anger, it is not bitterness. It is not the part of you that wants the people who mocked you to finally feel small. God does not call that a weapon. God calls that a wound asking for permission to lead. The weapon is different. The weapon is the calm that arrives before a decision. The weapon is the knowing that enters your body before your mind has proof. The weapon is the quiet strength that says no without shaking. It is the inner light that exposes what chaos tried to hide behind urgency. For a long time, you may have wondered why you could sense so much and still feel powerless. You felt motives before people confessed them. You felt heaviness in rooms that everyone else called normal. You saw the crack in the smile. You heard the lie beneath the polite sentence. But sensitivity without safety can feel like a curse. It can make you tired. It can make you guarded. It can make you wonder why God would let you feel so much if He was not going to show you what to do with it. That question has followed many chosen ones through silent seasons. God was not trying to make you weak. He was training the part of you that could not be trained in applause. He was teaching your spirit to notice without panicking, to see without accusing, and to carry truth without using it as a blade against wounded people. That is why the door stayed closed, not forever, just until the keeper was ready. A child can find a sword and think it is a toy. A wounded person can hold insight and turn it into suspicion. A hungry ego can receive a gift and use it to demand attention. God loved you too much for that. He hid the weapon until your need to prove yourself began to die. He hid it until your silence became stronger than your defense. He hid it until you could walk away from a battle and still feel whole. He hid it until restraint became part of your authority. This is why your current season feels strange. You are not exactly excited. You are not exactly afraid. You are standing at a threshold where the old version of you cannot follow, and the new version of you no longer needs permission to breathe. You do not respond the same. You do not chase the same. You do not explain the same. You do not collapse when someone withholds approval. That is not because your heart has closed. It is because a door inside the temple has opened, and the weapon behind it is no longer asleep. This weapon will not make you loud. It will make you clear. This weapon will not make you cruel. It will make you steady. This weapon will not make you untouchable. It will make you unavailable to the patterns that once touched everything sacred inside you. There is a difference between being guarded and being bitter. Bitterness says, "I will never love again." Guarded wisdom says, "I will not confuse access with love again." Bitterness punishes the future for what the past did. Guarded wisdom lets the future arrive through the gate of discernment. Chosen one, this is where many people misunderstand you. They thought your softness meant they could enter without honor. They thought your forgiveness meant they could repeat the same injury. They thought your patience meant you had no limit. But patience is not the absence of a boundary. Patience is not permission to be mishandled. Forgiveness is not a door with no lock. Love is not the death of wisdom. God can make your heart tender and still teach your spirit to recognize danger. He can keep you compassionate and still make you impossible to manipulate. That is why the weapon inside you is dangerous. Not dangerous to people who love truth. Not dangerous to people who come with clean hands. It is dangerous to deception. It is dangerous to confusion. It is dangerous to every false agreement fear made inside you. There are things that used to work on you. Guilt used to work. Silence used to work. Mixed signals used to work. The fear of losing people used to work. The fear of being called selfish used to work. But something in you has started to rise before those old chains can lock. That rising is not pride. It is not ego. It is not a hard heart. It is the restored part of you recognizing the pattern before the pattern becomes a prison. It is God giving you the mercy of early sight, so you do not have to learn everything through collapse. You may notice it first in your body. Your chest gets heavy around certain conversations. Your shoulders tighten when a familiar spirit enters the room. Your stomach turns before the words become obvious. Your breath changes when someone smiles with their mouth, but not with their intention. Do not ignore that. Do not worship it either. Your body is not God. Your feelings are not always prophecy. But a surrendered body can become a witness. And sometimes God lets your nervous system speak before your logic has finished gathering evidence. The first sign is this: you no longer explain yourself to people committed to misunderstanding you. You used to pour out paragraphs. You used to replay every detail. You used to make your heart a courtroom and beg people to look at the evidence. That season is losing power. You still care about truth. You still care about peace. But you no longer believe that every person deserves unlimited access to your inner world. You can speak once. You can speak cleanly. You can stop when the soil proves it does not want the seed. This is not withdrawal. This is stewardship. When God makes your discernment operational, He also teaches your mouth when to close. Not every silence is fear. Some silence is a locked gate. Some silence is an altar. Some silence is the sound of a chosen one refusing to feed confusion. The second sign is this: your body rejects environments your spirit used to tolerate. You may walk into a room and feel the old heaviness immediately. You may leave a conversation and need to breathe for several minutes. You may notice that certain places pull you backward into a version of you God already healed. That does not mean every uncomfortable place is evil. Growth can feel uncomfortable too. Healing can stretch you. Obedience can make your hands tremble. But there is a kind of discomfort that clarifies rather than grows you, and lately you can feel the difference faster. You are learning the language of your own spirit. You are learning what peace feels like before chaos argues with it. You are learning that a no in your body may be protecting a yes in your calling. That is not weakness. That is the weapon waking in a place deeper than words. The third sign is this: your mind becomes clearer when you step away from noise. You may feel scattered around constant voices, constant opinions, and constant urgency. But when you get quiet, something begins to settle. The fog thins. The answer rises. The next step becomes simple. This clarity may not come with drama. It may not arrive with thunder. Sometimes it comes like a lamp turning on in a small room. You suddenly know what to stop feeding. You suddenly know who to stop chasing. You suddenly know which door has been open only because fear kept reopening it. The fourth sign is this: old temptations feel strangely powerless. The message still appears. The memory still knocks. The opportunity to go backward still dresses itself like comfort. But something in you does not reach for it with the same hunger. You can see the end from the beginning. That is a holy mercy. What used to look like relief now looks like a loop. What used to look like love now looks like access without honor. What used to look like opportunity now looks like distraction with better lighting. This is not because you are above struggle. Chosen ones still have flesh. Chosen ones still get tired. Chosen ones still have lonely nights. But when God activates discernment, He gives you a clearer memory of what disobedience cost, and that memory becomes protection. The fifth sign is this: you sense truth before people finish speaking. You do not always know how you know. You just feel the mismatch. The words are smooth, but the spirit is wrong. The apology sounds correct, but there is no humility under it. The offer sounds generous, but something feels tied to it. Move carefully with this. Discernment is not an excuse to accuse everyone. It is not permission to become suspicious of every person who approaches you. The weapon must stay clean. Let fruit confirm what your spirit notices. Let time reveal what your body detected early. Still, do not shame yourself for seeing. You spent too long calling your clarity anxiety because someone taught you to distrust your own inner witness. You spent too long apologizing for noticing what later proved to be true. God is restoring your relationship with the truth inside you. The weapon is already moving. It is moving when you pause instead of reacting. It is moving when you leave instead of begging. It is moving when you wait for peace instead of rushing toward pressure. It is moving when you stop making excuses for what keeps damaging your spirit. This is the first great reframe. The weapon is not proving everyone wrong. The weapon is no longer betraying yourself when God has already shown you the truth. Breathe here. Let that land in your body. Do not rush past the part of you that recognizes these words. Let your shoulders drop. Let your hands loosen. Let the place inside you that has been bracing for another battle understand that clarity does not always arrive like a storm. It can arrive like quiet. It can arrive like a settled no. It can arrive like a clean breath after years of explaining. It can arrive when you finally stop negotiating with the thing God already exposed. One real breath can become a doorway when your spirit is ready to stop running. There is nothing to force in this moment, nothing to prove, nothing to perform. The weapon does not need panic to prove it is awake. It does not need an audience. It does not need the people who doubted you to understand the hour you are in. A true weapon of God rests until it is assigned. It does not swing because it can. It does not speak because it has information. It does not move because fear is loud. It waits in the hand of the one who formed it. That is why your next level requires stillness. And beneath this stillness, another truth begins to open. What if the weapon is not only spiritual? What if the fog you carried, the scattered thoughts, the lost focus, and the feeling that the younger version of you was sharper, were never proof that you were broken? You were not born scattered. You were not born dull. You were not born disconnected from your own inner intelligence. There was a version of you that learned quickly, imagined freely, and felt truth before fear taught you to second-guess every holy signal. That childlike part of you was not foolish. It was close to wonder. It could see possibility before the world trained it to calculate shame. It could create without asking whether the room approved. It could trust a clean knowing before survival made every answer feel dangerous. Then life happened. Pressure happened, rejection happened, survival happened. Little by little, the open mind became guarded. The creative mind became exhausted. The intuitive mind became foggy. The part of you that once moved with ease began to feel divided against itself. You may have called that aging. You may have called it stress. You may have called it failure. But what if some of what you called fog was actually disconnection? What if the mind God gave you was not gone, but waiting to be brought back into agreement? There are people studying this from another doorway. Not to replace prayer, not to replace obedience, not to turn the sacred into something cold, but to understand how the human mind can return to a more unified state, where focus, creativity, and inner clarity begin to work together again. Some of you already feel why this matters. You do not need a louder life. You need a clearer signal. You do not need more pressure. You need the parts of you that were split by survival to come back into holy agreement. Spirit, mind, and body were never meant to live like enemies. Later, there is a practical doorway I will name for those who feel their spirit lean toward it. For now, hold the truth gently. The weapon God activated may be more connected to your mind, your spirit, and your nervous system than anyone ever taught you. Chosen one, the weapon is fully operational. But it is not here to make you feared. It is here to make you faithful. It is here to cut through confusion, not people. It is here to protect the assignment, not punish the ones who failed to recognize it. The hidden room has opened. The light has touched the floor. The old chains have heard the sound of something waking. And somewhere deep inside you, the part of you that God preserved is beginning to understand why it could not die. The hidden room has opened, but the question beneath it is deeper than the opening. Why did God wait this long? Why did he let you feel the weapon before he let you use it? Why did he allow years of silence before the part of you that sees clearly became this strong? The answer may humble you. God was not delaying power because he doubted your calling. He was healing the places that would have tried to use power for proof. He was touching the wound that wanted applause. He was quieting the fear that thought every disagreement was a battle. Power without healing becomes performance. Discernment without love becomes suspicion. Authority without restraint becomes control. That is why the weapon could not be placed into the hands of every younger version of you, even the versions that were sincere. You were not bad in those earlier seasons. You were wounded. You were tired. You still wanted certain people to see what they had ignored. You wanted justice, but part of you also wanted the ones who dismissed you to finally watch you rise. God understood that pain. He did not shame you for it, but he also did not let that pain become the hand that held the weapon. A holy gift becomes heavy when a wounded motive tries to carry it, because even true clarity can become a blade when pride takes the handle. So God slowed you down. He let certain doors stay closed. He let certain rooms overlook you. He let certain people misunderstand you without sending immediate explanation to rescue your name. Not because your name did not matter, but because your soul mattered more. Sometimes God protects your future by refusing to answer your need for public proof. He lets the silence feel unfair, while he works on the part of you that still needs the crowd to agree. He is not ignoring you. He is freeing you. The delay was not denial. The delay was cleansing. The delay was not punishment. The delay was preparation. The delay was not God ignoring the weapon. The delay was God making the keeper safe enough to hold it. You thought the weapon would be released when you became stronger, but heaven waited until you became safer. Safer with your mouth, safer with your silence, safer with your choices, safer with the people who once pulled you into a version of yourself that God already delivered. Hidden does not mean forgotten. Hidden can mean covered. Hidden can mean guarded. Hidden can mean the flame is too important to be left in the wind. Think of Gideon. He did not first appear as a person who looked like a weapon. He looked hidden. He looked unsure. He was tucked away in pressure, trying to survive what he did not yet understand. And still, God saw the instrument beneath the insecurity. There is a sacred picture in that story, a torch hidden inside a jar, light covered by something ordinary, fire concealed behind something breakable. That is how many chosen ones live for years. People see the jar, they judge the clay. They do not know what God has placed inside. The jar is not the weapon. The noise is not the weapon. The crowd is not the weapon. The weapon is the light God preserved where no one thought to look. And when the appointed hour comes, the breaking does not destroy the light. The breaking reveals it. Some things cracked because they were false. Some things shattered because they could not hold your next level. Some relationships had to break open because they were built around access to your old self. The breaking was not the end of the flame. It was the beginning of visibility. Chosen one, they may have judged the outside. They may have called you too quiet, too sensitive, too intense, too strange, too hard to read. But God knew the flame. God knew the hour. God knew the moment when the jar would open and the light would speak for itself. The weapon inside you is the torch. The jar was your hidden season. The breaking was the strange pain that forced the light into the open. And the battlefield was never about becoming louder. It was about becoming faithful enough to let God reveal what He preserved. That brings us back to the question beneath your recent shift. Why does your mind feel different when you step away from noise? Why do you remember the younger version of you who learned faster, imagined more freely, and seemed to sense truth before fear trained you to doubt yourself? There is a spiritual answer, and there is also a practical doorway. Truth honors truth. What was named spiritually can also be supported wisely. And some of you have felt this since the beginning, as if your spirit knows the restoration of your clarity is connected to the way your whole inner system comes back into agreement. You were not born divided against yourself. You were not born with a scattered mind. You were not born unable to focus, unable to create, or unable to trust the quiet signal inside you. A great deal of life taught you how to split from your own knowing. As children, many people move with natural wonder. They learn quickly. They connect ideas freely. They see patterns without forcing them. Then, pressure enters. Schooling enters. Fear enters. Rejection enters. Survival enters. The mind that once moved as one begins to feel pulled apart. There is research that points towards something many people never heard in church or school. Dr. Roger Sperry won the Nobel Prize in 1981 for work connected to split brain research. His work helped the world understand how the two hemispheres can operate in different ways. That matters because your mind was never meant to feel like a battlefield. When the parts of you work in greater harmony, focus becomes cleaner. Creativity becomes easier to reach. Decisions feel less chaotic. Some presentations point to a striking idea. Many children test at a level of creative genius, while only a tiny fraction of adults remain there later in life. The exact wording can be debated, but the emotional truth is familiar. Something bright in childhood often becomes buried under adult pressure. This is where Dr. Daniel Barone and his team in New York City enter the conversation. They worked with neural sync technology, not as a replacement for faith, but as a practical support for the mind. Their aim was to help both hemispheres reconnect into a state of whole brain activation. They call the result the genius switch. It is an 8-minute targeted auditory sequence designed to be used with headphones, eyes closed, while your body relaxes. It is not a meditation app. It is not a $7,000 machine. It is not something that asks you to force a result through effort. The idea is simple. For 8 minutes a day, you give your mind a clean environment to receive the sequence. You do not have to repeat phrases. You do not have to become an expert. You do not have to perform spirituality. You listen, breathe, and let the process do what it was designed to support. One story from their material stays with me. A woman grew up believing her family carried bad luck. After using the sequence, she described clearer thinking and a fresh work insight that helped life open in a way she had stopped expecting. Truth does not need exaggeration. Not every person will have the same story, but this speaks to someone tired of calling fog their identity, and someone who knows there is more inside them than current patterns have allowed. The price is also part of why this door is practical. Colleagues suggested the work would carry strong value even at $500. Some people pay $300 per hour for in-person neurofeedback, and home machines can cost $7,000. They did not set this at $500, not $200, not $100. It was released at $49. And because you made it this far, today on this page, the Genius Switch can be claimed for $39. There are also 4 free bonuses included: a guided visualization from the Calm app, a smart grocery guide, a classic manifestation book, and a printable 5 habits infographic for your wall. There is a 100% money-back guarantee as well. Listen for 8 minutes. Listen many times. If it does not feel right for you, you are protected. That kind of safety matters because a sacred decision should not feel like pressure. If your spirit confirms this is for you, the link in the description points to where Dr. Barone and his team made it available. No pressure, no noise. Just a practical doorway for those who feel called to support the clarity that God is already restoring. And hear this clearly: the tool is not the source. God is the source. The tool can support the vessel, but it cannot replace surrender. It can help create space for clarity, but it cannot obey for you. It can support focus, but it cannot carry the calling you refuse to honor. The weapon inside you does not become clean through a product. It becomes clean through surrender. It becomes useful through obedience. It becomes steady when the mind, the body, and the spirit stop living as strangers and begin to come back under the hand of God. So take what is useful, leave what is not confirmed, but do not ignore the deeper invitation. God is not only waking your discernment, He is teaching you how to steward the whole vessel that carries it. The weapon is awake, and the keeper is still being formed. The weapon is awake, and the keeper is still being formed. That sentence matters because activation does not remove responsibility, it increases it. A holy weapon in an unguarded hand can become a wound with spiritual language wrapped around it. That is why this part must be spoken slowly. What if the greatest threat to the weapon is not outside you? What if the danger is not the people who betrayed you, ignored you, or misunderstood you? What if the first thing God must cut through is the part of you still tempted to use clarity as revenge? Chosen one. The weapon is not for revenge. It is not for proving a point. It is not for winning arguments that have no fruit. It is not for standing over people with a secret sense of superiority. The moment ego grabs a holy thing, the holy thing becomes heavy. This is where many people stumble. They receive discernment, then mistake it for permission to judge quickly. They sense something wrong, then speak before love has washed the tone. They see a pattern, then use the pattern to build a case against every new person who comes near. Discernment without surrender becomes suspicion. Suspicion looks spiritual from a distance, but it carries fear in its bloodstream. It watches people to catch them. It studies faces to condemn them. It calls every delay a warning and every mistake a threat. True discernment has a different spirit. It can see clearly and still stay clean. It can notice a red flag without becoming cruel. It can wait for fruit. It can hold information without needing to expose someone before God gives instruction. The weapon must first cut through reaction. Reaction makes you predictable. Reaction hands your power to whatever can trigger you fastest. Reaction says, "If you hurt me, I will show you what I know." Wisdom says, "I do not have to swing because I can." One message sent too quickly can reopen a door God closed. One emotional response can give chaos a new address. One moment of needing to be understood can pull you back into a cycle that took months to leave. This does not mean you become silent in fear. This does not mean you tolerate harm. It means you let God govern the timing of your voice. A clean word spoken at the right moment carries more power than words poured out from a wound. The weapon must also cut through pride. Pride is subtle in spiritual people. Sometimes it sounds like, "I see more than they do." Sometimes it sounds like, "Nobody can teach me." Sometimes it sounds like, "Every person who questions me is resisting my calling." A chosen one can be gifted and still need correction. A chosen one can be anointed and still need wisdom. God did not activate the weapon so you could become untouchable. He activated it so you could become more obedient. The weapon must cut through revenge fantasies. Maybe part of you still wants them to see what they lost. Maybe part of you wants elevation to become evidence against every voice that dismissed you. But revenge is a poor steward. It cannot carry holy fire. It always needs an enemy to feel alive. It keeps your focus tied to the people God is trying to move you beyond, and it makes your breakthrough orbit around their reaction. The weapon is not, "I will show them." The weapon is, "I will not abandon what God has shown me." One is performance. One is obedience. One still needs spectators. One can walk into the next season with no audience and still be faithful. You thought the enemy was only the people who hurt you. The deeper enemy is the version of you that still wants pain to prove your power. The weapon must cut through constant exposure to chaos. You cannot keep feeding your system noise and expect your discernment to stay clean. Every argument you replay, every voice you let enter your spirit, every memory you feed in resentment shapes the atmosphere inside you. Your attention is not small. Your attention is a gate. If you feed on conflict, conflict starts to feel normal. If you feed on fear, fear starts to sound like wisdom. That is why peace must become part of your strategy. Not fake peace, not avoidance, real peace. The kind that lets your body unclench, your mind settle, and your spirit hear without panic. The weapon stays sharper in stillness than it ever could in chaos. The weapon must cut through the habit of calling every feeling a message. Some feelings are signals, some feelings are wounds, some feelings are memories, trying to protect you from a past that is no longer happening. Maturity learns the difference. You can feel something and still pause. You can sense something and still pray. You can be disturbed and still ask for confirmation. The goal is not to distrust yourself again. The goal is to stop making fear and God sound like the same voice. This is a clean use of the weapon. Discern, decide, devote. 3 movements. Simple, but not shallow. Discern what is real. Decide what obedience requires. Devote your energy to what God has assigned. First, discern. The weapon cuts through confusion. It does not make you paranoid. It makes you patient with reality. You do not have to accuse the seed before it becomes fruit. You watch. You listen. You notice whether words and patterns agree. Discernment is quiet sight. It does not need to announce itself in every room. It does not need to make people nervous just to feel powerful. It can sit still and let time reveal what pressure tried to hide. Second, decide. The weapon cuts through delay. Many chosen ones do not lack revelation. They lack follow through. They know what must end. They know what must begin. They know which door is draining them, yet they ask God to repeat what he made clear. You do not need 10 more signs for what peace already left. You do not need another collapse to honor what clarity already said. Sometimes obedience is a quiet boundary. Sometimes it is an honest conversation. Sometimes it is deleting the door you keep reopening in loneliness. Third, devote. The weapon cuts through distraction. God does not activate clarity so you can spend it on everything. He activates clarity so you can protect what matters. Your prayer, your body, your schedule, your work, your relationships, your calling. Devotion turns discernment into direction. Without devotion, clarity becomes a collection of insights that never become a life. With devotion, clarity becomes a path. You wake up differently. You choose differently. You stop feeding the things that steal your strength. You are not becoming harsh. You are becoming guarded. You are not becoming cold. You are becoming clear. You are not becoming proud. You are becoming unavailable to the cycles that required you to stay confused in order to keep belonging. Breathe here. Unclench your jaw. Let your hands soften. The conviction you feel does not have to turn into fear. It can become peace. It can become focus. It can become a quiet yes to the maturity your calling requires. A weapon held by fear becomes heavy. A weapon surrendered to God becomes light. And when it becomes light, you stop swinging at shadows. You stop fighting for attention. You stop wasting holy fire on old cycles that only know how to burn. Chosen one. This is what the weapon is designed to cut through. Confusion, delay, distraction, ego, revenge, reaction. It cuts through every false agreement that told you power must be loud, healing must be proven, and clarity must be explained to everyone. The weapon is fully operational, but it is accountable. It belongs first to God. And when you carry it cleanly, it does not make you dangerous to love. It makes you dangerous to what tried to separate you from truth. You are not becoming dangerous to love. You are becoming dangerous to what tried to separate you from truth. Let that settle into the deepest place in you. The world may call this distance. God may call it order. People may call it coldness. Heaven may call it clean alignment. Chosen one, you are not cold. You are clear. You are not harsh. You are guarded. You are not arrogant. You are no longer begging to be chosen by people who only knew how to value the version of you they could access. There is a kind of love that requires wisdom. There is a kind of mercy that requires gates. There is a kind of forgiveness that does not reopen the same door. And when God makes the weapon inside you fully operational, He teaches you how to love without losing yourself again. This is the identity that is rising in you. Calm body, clear mind, submitted spirit, guarded access, obedient movement. You are not here to perform power. You are here to carry it cleanly. You are here to let truth move through a vessel that does not need to be seen in order to be steady. You are returning to yourself, not the self built by fear, not the self shaped by rejection, not the self that learned to shrink so other people could stay comfortable. You are returning to the self-God, preserved under every season that tried to bury your light. What felt like isolation was incubation. What felt like delay was calibration. What felt like silence was protection. What felt like loss was uncluttering. What felt like rejection was redirection. What felt like weakness was the place where God hid the weapon until your hands became clean enough to hold it. And I hear the Father saying, "The part of you they called too much is the part I preserved. The sensitivity they mocked is the place where discernment learned to breathe. The silence they misunderstood is the place where wisdom learned to stand. You are not too deep. You are not too intense. You are not too hard to read. Some people were only comfortable when you were easy to use. Some people called your boundaries pride because your availability was their benefit. But God did not form you to remain open to every hand that knew your name. The operational version of you does not need to announce itself. It simply moves differently. It leaves when peace leaves. It pauses when urgency starts speaking too loudly. It listens for God beneath the pressure of people. It checks the fruit instead of worshipping the words. This version of you does not make every room your assignment. That is growth. You no longer confuse access with love. You no longer confuse being needed with being chosen. You no longer confuse exhaustion with faithfulness. There are people you can love from a distance. There are doors you can bless without entering. There are conversations you can release without winning. That is not defeat. That is authority under surrender. The fully operational identity is not loud. It is not restless. It is not desperate for a sign from every person who once made you feel invisible. It is steady enough to be misunderstood and still obey. It is humble enough to be corrected and still remain strong. You are becoming whole. That is why confusion cannot hold you the same way. That is why old bait feels weaker. That is why silence has become less frightening. That is why certain rooms feel too small now. Your spirit is no longer negotiating with chains that God already broke. Protect your silence. Not every movement needs an explanation. Not every instruction needs an audience. Not every healing needs a witness. Some things grow best when they are hidden from the eyes that do not know how to honor seed. Protect your body. Your body carries messages your hurried mind can miss. Your breath changes. Your shoulders tighten. Your stomach warns you. This does not mean every feeling is God. It means your vessel deserves care, while discernment becomes clearer. Protect your attention. What you feed will shape what you hear. If you feed fear, fear will start sounding like wisdom. If you feed resentment, resentment will start sounding like justice. If you feed peace, peace will become easier to recognize. Protect your obedience. Clarity becomes heavy when you delay it too long. You do not need another collapse to do what God already whispered. You do not need another sign to leave what keeps pulling your spirit backward. Protect your humility. This is the guardrail around the whole weapon. Without humility, discernment becomes accusation. Without humility, confidence becomes pride. Without humility, a gift can begin to serve the ego more than the assignment. The weapon stays clean when the vessel stays surrendered. It stays sharp when your spirit stays teachable. It stays light when you stop using it to defend a false image of strength. You do not have to become hard to become powerful. Some of you still feel drawn to the practical support mentioned earlier, if your spirit confirms it. The genius switch is simply one doorway to support the clarity already being restored in you. It is not the source. God is the source. Let every tool remain beneath surrender. The deeper work is still holy. Sleep matters. Prayer matters. Stillness matters. What you listen to matters. Who you keep giving access to matters. The weapon may be operational, but the atmosphere around the weapon still affects how cleanly you carry it. This is why the closing cannot be rushed. What God awakened in you must be returned to His hand, not thrown into the world, not used to punish people, not lifted like proof that you were right all along. Returned to the one who formed it. So release revenge. Release the secret hunger for them to watch you rise. Release the need to explain every scar. Release the need to make your pain convincing. Release the belief that closure only comes when someone else finally understands what they did. Release over explaining. Let your yes be clean. Let your no be clean. Let your silence be clean. Let your movement be clean. You do not have to drag your calling through the courtroom of human opinion. Release the fear of being misunderstood. Some people will misunderstand you because they only knew the version of you that had no boundaries. Some people will call your healing distance because they benefited from your disorder. Release the guilt for becoming clear. Guilt is one of the last chains to fall. It will whisper that you are abandoning people when you are only abandoning the role they assigned to you. It will say you are selfish when you are finally stewarding what God trusted you with. You are allowed to grow without apologizing for every person who preferred you small. You are allowed to heal without reopening the wound for inspection. You are allowed to become steady without proving you still care through self-betrayal. Place the weapon back into the hand of God. Let Him govern your timing. Let Him govern your voice. Let Him govern your silence. Let Him govern your steps. A weapon in the hand of God does not miss its assignment. It does not move because fear shouts. It moves because heaven sends it. And I hear the Father saying, "What I have awakened in you will not sleep again because someone misunderstands it. What I have restored in you will not shrink again because someone resists it. What I have placed inside you will not return to hiding because the room cannot handle your light." Your discernment is fully operational. Your obedience is fully operational. Your restraint is fully operational. Your holy clarity is fully operational. Not for ego, not for revenge, not for applause. For the calling, let this be sealed in your spirit. You are not dangerous to love. You are dangerous to deception. You are not weaponized by pain. You are entrusted with clarity. You are not becoming unreachable. You are becoming unavailable to what God never assigned you to carry. Chosen one, walk forward with clean hands. Walk forward with a steady breath. Walk forward with a guarded heart that still knows how to love. Walk forward without dragging old accusations into new doors. The temple chamber is no longer locked. The torch is no longer hidden. The weapon is no longer asleep. The old confusion has lost the right to name you. The old fear has lost the right to lead you. If this message confirmed what your spirit already knew, write these words where your own eyes can see them. My discernment is clean, and my spirit is steady. Let it be a witness. Let it be a line in the ground. Let it remind you that clarity does not need to be cruel. If your spirit is still pulling you toward the practical support I mentioned, the door is in the description and pinned comment. Move only if peace confirms it. Never from pressure, never from fear. Never from the belief that a tool can replace God. The final image is simple. Before dawn, the temple stands quiet. The chamber door remains open. The light touches the floor. The keeper stands with clean hands. Nothing has to be shouted. Nothing has to be proven. What was hidden has awakened. What was scattered is returning. What was delayed has found its appointed hour. And the part of you that God preserved through every silent season now understands why it could not die. Chosen one, the weapon inside you is fully operational. Carry it with humility. Carry it with mercy. Carry it with discipline. Carry it with prayer. And when the world asks what changed, let your life answer quietly. May your speech become slower when pressure tries to rush you. May your eyes become clearer when confusion tries to charm you. May your heart remain soft without becoming open to every hand. May your path become clean enough for your next yes to rise without fear. This is not the end of your formation. It is a threshold. The weapon is active, but your surrender must stay alive. Every morning, return it to God. Every decision, return it to God. Every open door, return it to God. That is how power remains holy. You do not have to chase the old life to prove you are free from it. Freedom does not need to revisit the cage. Freedom walks forward breathes deeply, and lets the locked doors behind it stay locked. The weapon is awake, the vessel is surrendered, the calling is protected, and the one who began this work in you is faithful to keep what he has activated.